Hi, Shannon Grimm with Shannon Grimm and Partners, here for another episode of our podcast, and we're still under some construction, but we're working on that. Today, I am joined by Slavi Jordanov from the team.
Hello.
And also joined by Brian Hitchcock with First Financial Bank. He is what I refer to as the Condo Guru. So if you're thinking about purchasing a condo and you get approved with anyone other than him, you're doing yourself a disservice. So
Love that.
yeah, and just because the majority of condos go non-warrantable, which isn't a term that most people know, and that means a difference between 15% in down payment. So if you're planning on 5% and you're now non-warrantable, now you got to come up with another 15%, which is a bit of a shock to the system because you usually only find out a week before closing.
Yes, and that is part of the problem.
Yes,
most lenders will not find out if a condo complex is warrantable, which means Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac like it, or non-warrantable, which means that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac do not like it, until very late in the process. So using a lender that understands condos, knows when to get the condo questionnaire answered, knows which condo questionnaire to use.
Knows what a condo questionnaire is.
Correct.
True.
Knows that when you ask if it's warrantable or not, they're not talking about a home warranty.
Yes, I get that a lot. And listing agents typically do not understand the difference between warrantable and non-warrantable either.
They do not.
So those listings typically will not tell you. Many times they'll say this
FHA.
condo complex, it'll say FHA when it's not.
FHA.
It'll say non-warrantable when it's not, and it'll say warrantable when it's not. So I don't trust a listing ever.
I don't either. And even it's like if we call the listing agent and they actually answer the phone or call us back, or if we get a hold of the property management company and we ask whether or not the property is warrantable, they always refer to whether or not you can put a home warranty on the home.
Yes, and that is not what that means.
That is not. And it used to be called conforming or non-conforming, which makes sense to me as an agent because it means it conforms to FHA standards or does not conform to FHA standards. Well, Freddie and Fannie standards,
Yes.
not FHA. But for some reason, that was confusing to lenders because conforming and non-conforming means something else.
I was never confused by it, but conforming means the loan size. So a jumbo loan is above
Gotcha.
conforming limits. A loan that is under $802,000 now is below conforming or in conforming limits. So we don't like to mix those words because they do mean two different things. You might call me about a condo in Chicago that's selling for 1.2. That would be non-conforming, even if it's warrantable.
See, it just made our life harder.
How many condos in Columbus, Ohio, are more than more than 802,000?
Not many.
Not a lot.
Not many. So, and another fun fact that you and I have discussed before: how many condos in Central Ohio approximately are FHA?
Almost none.
Yeah.
Almost none. If you have an FHA buyer looking for condos, it is better to start with a list of condos they can look at than to start with them looking at condos.
But again, do not believe everything you read.
No. Nope. The last one I got, a listing agent swore it was FHA approved, put it in the listing that it was FHA approved. It took me about 3 minutes to figure out that it was not FHA approved. I said, how did you think that this was FHA approved to the buyer's agent? They said, ask the listing agent. Called the listing agent. He said, well, the owners told me they have an FHA loan, so it must be approved, right?
No.
And they got their loan 10 years ago, and that
Yes.
has been expired for 8 years.
They could have gotten their loan 3 months ago.
and it still
And
might
it
not
still
be
might not be
FHA approved.
FHA approved. Because people don't understand. It's like $750 per building or whatever to get it approved for FHA. And I tried to get a community approved for FHA once, and after 9 months gave up. Because you couldn't get it done. And then they supposedly changed things to where you could do a spot approval. That was horrible too. So that took 90 days to go absolutely nowhere.
Part of the problem was that FHA made the condo association and or the people on the board of the condo liable for their decision.
Sure did.
And when that happens, not a lot of people want to take that liability on.
No
if
one
you're
wants
on a
to get
board.
involved at all.
No.
And that was really difficult. And it made no sense why that happened either. And there's also similar things with the condo questionnaire as a whole now. So ever since the buildings collapsed in Florida,
Yes.
now you're having to swear that all the units, so say you have a community of 100 and they're from the 70s, now whoever fills out that condo questionnaire is basically asserting that all units are in good order, even though they've never been inside all units. And you get some property managers who won't do that.
I don't know that they have to attest that they're all in
That's
good
what they're
condition,
saying.
but they have to attest that there is no functionality defect that they're aware of. So
Correct.
if somebody complains the concrete is, rotting out in the garage, that's what they want to hear about if they have a known defect.
Right.
But
And-
people still don't want to answer it.
Yeah, and they don't want to. Yeah, correct. They don't want to take the liability to answer the question. So that was at the time when I was selling my condo, like 2 weeks before that, or like a month before that. So I had that challenge for selling my condo. Like I couldn't get from my HOA answers about that. So
Yes.
Yep.
No one wants to answer that stuff.
Right.
And now the condo questionnaire is even longer and even more interpretive, I feel.
Yes.
So when they were trying to make condos easy, leave it to the government, they made them even harder.
We ask the question and compel them to answer of how many defects are you aware of? And they say, oh, I'm not aware of any. And they say, thank you.
I like that.
We are
like
not
that.
aware of any.
Very good.
That is
Right.
perfect.
Very good.
Good
But
answer.
it's just they don't want to fill out that condo questionnaire and send it back.
Yes.
So, and I think we've had a couple that, I don't even remember which condo that was, where we struggled to get someone to answer.
It sometimes takes
recently
more
even.
effort than others. Some have management companies that are great about filling them out. Some fill them out wrong. And if you go with a big box lender, that loan officer doesn't even look at the condo questionnaire. They send it directly to the underwriter, and the underwriter immediately says, this loan can't go through. We look at them all. If we think an answer is wrong, we actually call back and get the answer corrected to what it should be.
My favorite is when you go to the large banks or the online folks.
Especially
And-
those.
Yep, and you're doing a condo, and then especially the big banks, when you go back to them and say, okay, what are you doing? Oh, we're still working on it. Get us an extension. Okay.
I have a horror story right now.
I have one too. You get an extension, and then they come back to you and say, oh, we're going to need another extension.
Yes.
And then I'm like, okay, well, we have people who have special needs, and you're about to make them homeless. So kind of need you to speed things up. And it's like, well, we just need another extension. And I said, look, just tell the truth. Are you going to be able to do it or not? No, I don't think so.
Give me a percentage.
Well, why didn't you tell me?
Nobody was ever going to say they don't think they can do it. They're just going to say they need more time.
They need more time. And it's like, but you're a large, reputable bank, and you can't.
I don't know that
do
those
this?
two words actually go together.
Well, as
very
far
well.
as credit cards go, people love them, right? And then another bank, another larger bank, the condo was appraised for like $270,000. They were financing $50,000, and we still were probably never going to close.
Unbelievable.
Probably never going to close.
Unbelievable. I have no idea why. I get the phone call once a week at least where either a lender calls me and says, I'm about 3.5 weeks into this deal and I can't do it. Or a buyer who says, I don't understand how they can do this. I only have a week to close and my bank is telling me they can't do it. So we try and make that determination very
At least
early.
they told them.
They did tell me, yes.
Well, it actually was the listing that I had recently where we told them, look, if your lender can't do it, you need to call Brian. So, because that's just like, I don't know. More people need to know that you can save their butts in condo situations.
Only tell 100 of your closest friends that we can do that. Yes. we are happy to be busy with condos.
And you have a good little team with Marguerite, and I think you added someone else too.
We did. Unfortunately, she was remote, and they eliminated all remote positions. So
dear.
that is our third helper is gone. But Marguerite and I can take care of a lot of loans on our own,
Yeah.
and we're looking for another
And
person.
Marguerite does a great job.
She's
so.
amazing. She is like
She
the
is,
right
yeah.
half of my brain.
That's good.
She does
agree.
all the
Yes.
thinking.
Yeah, right.
I never know which half is the thinking half and which half is the
I think
creative.
it's the right half is the thinking
Mine
half.
just fights with each other.
Nice.
The
Yeah.
inner struggles are real.
She is amazing with condos, knows exactly what to do, knows when to do it, gets it done the first week. That's the best part.
Well, one of the things I do, because I know that you do so many condos, if I know that someone's looking in a particular community, I'll call you and say, hey, do you know if this condo community is warrantable or not?
Yes.
And you can usually look it up, or if you can't look it up in one place and find out, then you look it up and see if you've done one in there recently and can tell that way.
Yes,
So
chances
that's always
are,
been very helpful.
as a bank, chances are we've done at least one in the last year in almost every complex in Central Ohio. Every once in a while you get a tiny complex and we really do have to do the research, but again, we do it day one, not day 21.
And we talked about FHA, but what other people what people should also know is what percentage of condos are VA approved. And just because it is FHA approved does not automatically mean it's VA approved on anything.
No.
Which people have that misconception.
Oh, yes. Both are government loan products, but they each have their own list. So FHA list, I will tell you in 3 minutes if the condo complex is approved or not approved and when it'll be approved till. VA is a little more difficult. We can look them up and they may or may not be approved, but we do approve on spot VA.
How easy is that to do?
Well, for you, it's really easy. You don't have to do anything. For me,
considering
it's a lot of work.
But I mean, considering FHA was not easy. I mean, 90 days and we still couldn't get a spot approval.
No, for us, we put the package together, submit it to the VA. Typically, can meet a 45-day contract with that.
Okay.
30's pushing it because the
That's
VA
better
is the
than
VA.
I thought, because I thought the VA would be even worse than FHA.
Nope, they are very straightforward, reasonable people.
Okay.
It's amazing, right?
And then there's another little word that the consumers don't know and that most agents don't know. And so, like, everyone's familiar with conventional loans, but no one really knows a lot about those portfolio products. And the fact that a portfolio loan means a difference of 5% versus 20% for most lenders.
Yes.
So how many do you think need to go portfolio?
Need or could are two different words. So, probably 5% have to go portfolio.
Okay.
We can't find another solution. Maybe a little higher than that even. Many want to go portfolio because there are certain benefits to going portfolio versus going with Fannie and Freddie loan. The biggest one is that you can put less money down. You can get grant money. You can have a better...
You can get grant money on a portfolio?
You can get a grant.
I did not know
grant
that.
on portfolio, yeah.
Did not know that.
And we don't have mortgage insurance on several of our portfolio loans for first-time buyers. And the difference that makes to a buyer is, A, they don't have to jump through the hoops for Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac. B, they don't have to pay MI on the loan, which for the first 10 years you're paying mortgage insurance. So.
Right.
And if their scores happen to be under the top tier of 760, they're actually probably saving money monthly by taking a portfolio loan. And it's a 30-year fixed rate loan. So it's
See, I would not have
fantastic.
thought that. But you can do a portfolio product with 5% down, right?
3% down.
3% down.
Actually,
now.
0% down if
What?
you really want to get technical with that
What?
grant. There's a 3% down loan with a 3% grant.
So what are the qualifications for the grant?
Right.
You have to make under 82,000 and change.
If it's a lot of people.
Okay.
It is a lot of people. I
That's
mean,
combined in household? Like
nope.
both?
I can
Okay,
ignore your spouse and just
Okay.
use your income to qualify on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's just there's so many loans, and just to explain portfolio, in case anybody's like, I have a portfolio, my retirement's in it, but I don't know what a portfolio loan is. A portfolio loan just means it's the bank's money and the bank's rules. That's it. Nothing more. We have depositors that put money in our bank. Those depositors want to make interest. We have to pay them interest, so we have to earn interest on our money. So we lend it back out to people who need it.
Right.
Non-wardable condos takes up a lot of our loans.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
So your portfolio product, are you guys servicing all of those in-house?
Everyone.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That would be a huge risk, you would think, for a bank.
We are very well capitalized. We're a very large bank.
Okay.
So I know we don't seem large. We seem like a little tiny bank in Central Ohio, but we're I think number 106 in the country, which is pretty large. And we were named number 43 on the Forbes list of best bank, and that
Okay.
I put
Okay.
air quotes on best because I don't know, they use 10
What the
criteria to
criteria was,
determine
right.
it. But so we feel small, we are big, and we have a lot of money to lend out, so that's how we do it.
Well, I don't think any of what we all perceive as a big bank, I don't think they service hardly any.
I mean,
I think they package them up and sell them off to new res.
That may be.
Which is very painful.
Some do, some don't. I think that there are regional banks that definitely keep the servicing, and there are national banks that keep the servicing, but I don't think it's the same experience you get with a community bank like us.
Okay. So any other products that you have that you want to talk about real quick?
I talk about our Dream Builder product all the time. It is unfair for me to talk about it because other lenders just don't have access to it, but I guess I will tell you. It is a fantastic product that will loan up to 104% of a purchase price. So what does that mean for you as a real estate agent? In Central Ohio, we'll almost never be able to go to 104 unless there is some caveat carve out where the buyer has to pay some cost. Most of the time in Central Ohio, we go to 102, which covers your entire 100% of your purchase price, 2% toward closing costs, no cash needed. Almost every time we close one of those, we're lowering the loan amount right before closing because, I'm sorry, your buyer's getting money back and they're not allowed to. So it's a fantastic loan from that perspective. Again, it has the income requirement under 82 and change.
Still not bad.
Do not have to be a first-time buyer. You can be a move-up buyer. You can have had another house. You can still have another house.
Okay.
It's insane. I know nobody likes to talk about the NAR lawsuit, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it.
We're
buyers sign a buyer's agreement, and the sellers may not want to pay the buyer's agents, brokers, compensation. So if that happens, you have a seller, they just say, no, my heels are dug in, I'm not paying your agent, that loan can cover the agent fee and still 1% of the toward closing costs. So huge. It hasn't happened to me yet. There hasn't been a seller yet that said, no, I'm not paying, but there will be.
Well, 'cause I think most sellers, though, see the benefit of that and see that they're actually making more money by attracting more buyers.
Yes. I think we're going to see for sale by owners that might dig in and say no.
Well, and then they might be dug in for a long time in that exact same spot,
yes,
too.
Yes, they might.
Because I've had buyers dig in and say, well, if they're not going to pay, which is what's happened traditionally, then I don't want to look at their house.
Yes.
I want to only look at houses that are offering to pay you.
Yes.
So at least most people understand we do deserve to be paid. So that's why.
I agree you deserve to be paid, and I got a way that I can get you paid even if the buyer can't.
And the buyers were always financing the compensation anyway.
Yes.
So I don't understand, but whatever. I digress.
Yes. We're talking about me.
Yeah, exactly. So anyhow, let people know how to get a hold of you.
You can reach out to me by phone, 614-260-5537, or you can email me, Brian, Brian, at 614-260-5537.com, or you can just go out and make application at myphonenumber.com.
Okay, and I would suggest that you text him instead of call him because he's a very busy man. So we do tell people that, too, up front.
Oh, it is fine to text me. I'm going to text right back out to you.
Like he's probably going to be more likely to text you than answer the phone. So just because we know you're so busy, but
I appreciate that, and I will get right back to anybody you have text me.
But you've definitely carved out a niche that we appreciate. So it's a needed one.
I think the bank has done a great job of carving out a niche in Central Ohio because we're new here in 2014, and then I think the loan officers that work for the bank also have done a great job. So we just want to help as many buyers as we can, and hopefully they all call.
Well, your team does a great job, so we appreciate you and Marguerite. So.
Thanks so much. I will let Marguerite know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us today. And as always, remember to like, follow, and subscribe. And until next time, thank you.